What if a building could tell you not just how people lived, but what they feared, what they valued, and how they saw power, beauty, and even time itself? That is what architectural history does. It is not just a timeline of old buildings. It is a way of reading civilizations in stone, wood, glass, and steel. Today, we are looking at 5 fascinating angles on architectural history you should know, because once you start seeing architecture this way, every city becomes a kind of open-air archive. One of the most useful ways to understand architecture is as a history of engineering breakthroughs. A Roman arch is not just elegant, it is efficient. It distributes weight outward, letting builders create bigger spans and stronger structures. That is why aqueducts, bridges, and huge civic buildings became possible. Later, the invention of steel frames and reinforced concrete changed everything again. Suddenly, buildings did not need thick load-bearing walls. That opened the door to skyscrapers, giant windows, and the modern city skyline. Why this matters? If you understand the material and structural logic, you can quickly tell why a building looks the way it does. For example, if you see a Gothic cathedral with flying buttresses, you are not just seeing decoration. You are seeing a solution to the problem of pushing massive stone walls upward while keeping them stable. Buildings are rarely neutral. They communicate authority. Palaces, government buildings, temples, and monumental entrances are often designed to make one thing clear: who is in charge? Think about classical columns on banks, courthouses, and universities. Those forms were borrowed from ancient Greece and Rome because they signal permanence, order, and legitimacy. The useful takeaway here is that architecture shapes perception. A wide staircase, tall facade, or symmetrical layout can make a place feel important before you even step inside. That is why modern institutions still use architectural cues from the past. They are borrowing emotional authority. Not all architecture is about style. A lot of it is just smart adaptation. Traditional courtyard houses in hot regions create shade and improve airflow. Thick adobe walls store coolness during the day and release it slowly at night. Steep roofs in snowy climates help prevent collapse from heavy snow. This is where architectural history becomes practical. It shows how to design with the environment instead of against it. A concrete example: if you are planning a home or even a renovation, looking at vernacular architecture from your climate zone can reveal low-tech strategies that still work better than expensive gadgets. The layout of buildings tells you how people organize their lives. A medieval castle says a lot about defense and hierarchy. A Roman bath complex says public life and social ritual mattered. A modern open-plan office says productivity and collaboration are prized, at least in theory. Architecture is useful here because it helps decode culture. If you study floor plans, entrances, courtyards, and gathering spaces, you can infer how people moved, met, and interacted. That makes architecture history valuable not just to historians, but to designers, planners, and anyone interested in how spaces influence behavior. Every era has favorite forms, and those forms often reveal what that era admired. The Gothic loved height and light. The Renaissance loved balance and proportion. Modernism loved simplicity, function, and honesty of materials. These are not just styles, they are philosophies made visible, and that is incredibly useful when analyzing contemporary design. When a building feels minimalist, grand, or organic, it is usually channeling some older architectural idea, whether consciously or not. So architectural history is not just about memorizing styles and dates. It is about learning to see buildings as technology, power, climate response, social structure, and cultural belief all at once. The next time you walk down a street, ask yourself, what problem was this building solving and what message was it sending? Because once you know how to read architecture, you do not just see buildings. You see history made visible. 5 fascinating angles on architectural history you should know is just one small part of architectural history. If you are interested, our full free architectural history course is linked in the description.